They say money can't buy us happiness, but I would have to disagree. For those of us in the backcountry exploring, it didn't come without a cost, but that doesn't mean we have to break the bank getting there either. Thank you for joining another episode of Backcountry Outdoors. This is part 2 of my $5,000 ADV build. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so that you can see new backcountry content.
Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 2 of my $5,000 ADV budget build. If you haven't seen the first video, please check it out up here. I'll put a link. But this is going to be a little bit of the changes, pros, cons. I now have 1,300 miles on the bike, so have a little more seat time that I can kind of give some recommendations of things I do and do not like. Like I said, I have 1,300 miles in the seat of this bike, and so far I love it. Price is a big factor of that just because it is so inexpensive, but there are some pros, cons, changes that I've made since the last video, things that I plan on changing, and we'll go through a few of those things. So right off the bat, the things that I've changed since last video is I've been running these Wild Heart 18-liter saddlebags. They've got the job done. They were inexpensive, as discussed in the last video. They're made out of a thick PVC material, completely waterproof. I've driven through the rain for hours with them. No problems at all with water getting inside of them. We'll see how they hold up if they get a little rashed up, but they definitely get the job done, and they're a perfect size for this size of bike. I wouldn't want to go any bigger than this, and I definitely wouldn't want to be any smaller just because of carrying things around. The other things I've added is the bark busters on here, which I bought the universal kit and it bolted right up, no problem. There is one small area where I couldn't get the handlebar bracket to line up on the throttle side just because of how the Husqvarna positioned some pieces on the bar. So it's only attached by the end link here, and I've had no issues with that. It vibrates just a little, but you don't feel it in the handlebar. You just kind of see it on that unsupported side. The other things that I've added is the Baja tower up top. It's a nice CNC clamp-on style. It goes onto the handlebars. I modified it a little bit by cutting the mounting plate in half. I had an old phone charger for my Jeep that I took off of the clamp style and added it onto here. It works really well, holds it on tight. It's not going anywhere. And then I have a charging cable coming over to it, so I can see just under my phone and see my display very, very well. Plus it adds that windshield that I can block a little bit more wind. Now, it still buffers around my forehead area, which would be in the cons a little bit. But all in all, I think it looks really good, and it adds a little more wind support. There's no more wind hitting me in the chest anymore. It's all kind of on the forehead area. Another piece that I don't have on here is I bought a tail bag off that same auction site, and it's a little big. It's a 60 to 80 liter. It expands, but I like that. I want to be able to carry as much gear as I want or as little as I want and have that expandability so that I can go out for a couple days. I'm new to this, so I overpack a little bit, and I'm okay with that. Pros of this bike: the price, the tech, the suspension. I found that the seat is very comfortable. It's a nice wide seat, just enough cushion in it to be comfortable for long rides. I haven't been in the seat more than about an hour and a half at a time without getting off, but I don't know that I want to ride any longer than that without stopping and getting a drink or having to get gas or something like that. This is a very light bike. It's only around 340 pounds, so it makes it very nimble. Both of those are huge pros in my book. It just makes it where you can move this thing around and up and over pretty much anything you want and not have any issues with it. And even if you're a beginner rider, this bike is going to feel so approachable to you. Moving on to the cons, I would have to say skid plate. You can probably see in this video how thick it is. It's not a very good skid plate. I've already banged it one good time off road, and it set it right up against the exhaust where it was vibrating and making a horrible sound. So I had to take it off and bang it back straight, and then slap it back on. I do plan on upgrading that. Outback Mototech just came out with a skid plate for the 2025 KTM ADV R, and as far as I can tell, it would bolt right up to this bike. So I may check that one out just to give it some true support for off-road, because another con of the bike is it doesn't have huge ground clearance on it. It has enough to jump a curb or do things like that, but if you want to teeter over a log or kind of jump up on a log and go over, which is how I've been at the first time, it's not great at that. Another big con for me is I'm kind of stuck with these tires because of the rim sizes. They don't offer a lot of on-off-road tire treads for this size. It's got 17 up front and 17 in the back, and the Scorpions have been great. I like the front tire more than the rear. The rear has kind of a paddle design where I get the forward momentum tread that I want, but I do feel it slipping left and right because of the lack of lines on the tire like the front has. Another big con for me is the standing position. Being a smaller bike, I'm 6 foot tall. When I stand, I kind of got to hunch over a little bit, and I don't feel that comfortable be able to drive with your feet situation. Now, I guess I could try to find some lowering pegs, and I do have some bar risers on the way, which will be probably my next change. Speaking of changes, from there, it's probably going to be some crash bars. I already mentioned the skid plate, the bar risers, and then from there, we'll just put some more miles on it, see how it goes. I like the bike a lot, and I plan on putting a few more thousand. I did the first maintenance on it. It was very, very easy. I was able to reset the factory light that they want you to come in and spend $450 to do the first service. In reality, the first service cost me less than $100. Took me about 20 minutes to do. So serviceability, I would almost add that up in the pros, and I'm excited to get it out on more camping trips, get it on more trails, see what it can really do. If you haven't seen my camping video, check it out. I'll put a link up here. And I've went on some pretty gnarly one-track trails with it, and it handled pretty much everything. Like I said, the ground clearance gets you in trouble, the tires can get you in trouble, and then that rim size of the front wheel does downplay the bike a little bit. But hey, for under $5,000, this is all I could ask for, and I really enjoy it. I'm going to put a lot more miles on it.